When Kelly Clarkson stepped onto the stage for her Las Vegas residency, no one could have predicted the powerful moment of honesty that was about to unfold. The lights shimmered, the crowd buzzed with excitement, and there she was, America's original sweetheart, looking radiant and confident. But beneath that familiar smile, she carried years of industry pressure, personal loss, and quiet resilience. What she shared that night would not only make her audience roar with laughter, but also remind the world why she's still one of the most authentic voices in entertainment. It started like any other performance. Kelly Clarkson had been joking with her fans between songs when she suddenly paused, her expression shifting into a mix of mischief and truth. With a smirk that only she could pull off, she told a story that left everyone stunned. "I had some manager one time tell me to get a boob job," she said, pausing for effect. The crowd murmured, some laughing, others gasping, and as she leaned into the microphone and delivered the punchline that would go viral in seconds. "And I was like, why don't you get a king job?" The audience erupted. It wasn't just a joke, it was pure defiance. That single moment captured everything fans loved about Kelly Clarkson. Her sharp humor, her self-confidence, and her refusal to play by Hollywood's impossible rules. She followed it up with another line, completely owning her truth. "I'm fine with my itty-bitty, get out of here!" she laughed, tossing her hair as the audience roared again. As the laughter echoed through the Las Vegas venue, Kelly grew more candid. She spoke about how common, and how toxic, these kinds of comments are in the entertainment world. "Who even says that?" she asked the crowd. "People in this business say the wildest things. It's not normal, but somehow they've made crazy the new normal." Her words cut through the glitz and glamour, exposing the strange, distorted standards of beauty and perfection that dominate the industry. She compared Hollywood's obsession with appearance to the world of the Hunger Games, laughing as she said, "Everybody's out here looking like they're in the Capitol. Welcome, welcome. Calm down, just get old. Be glad not everybody gets to get old." Her fans cheered loudly, clapping and laughing, but there was truth in her humor. Kelly wasn't mocking people who chose to change their looks. She was challenging the idea that everyone had to look the same just to stay relevant. "You do you," she said, "but don't make me do you." It was a bold message, one that perfectly summed up Kelly Clarkson's philosophy. From the start of her career, she's always embraced being herself. She's been open about her insecurities, her struggles, and her growth, turning pain into empowerment. That's what's always made her stand out in an industry that often values image over authenticity. Then she smiled again and said something that showed just how far she's come. "I like my age. It's treated me well. I've got a life. I've got things to do. I don't have time to worry about that stuff." The audience applauded. They weren't just cheering for her humor, they were cheering for her strength. Kelly had learned to love herself, and in doing so, she gave everyone in that theater permission to do the same. Her Las Vegas residency has been full of moments like that. Moments of laughter mixed with honesty. But behind the bright lights and big smiles, Kelly Clarkson has been walking through some of the darkest days of her life. In August, she took a break from performing, stepping away from the spotlight to grieve the loss of her ex-husband, Brandon. Brandon, the father of her 2 children, had passed away after battling melanoma. The news devastated Kelly and those close to her. They had gone through so much together: love, divorce, and co-parenting. And despite the challenges, he remained a significant part of her life. In interviews and private moments, she admitted that she missed him deeply. "We miss him every minute," she said softly, her voice trembling with emotion. It was a rare glimpse into Kelly's private pain, but also a reminder of her courage. She's always been transparent about her emotions, never afraid to show her humanity. Behind the powerhouse voice that gave the world hits like "Because of You" and "Stronger," there's a woman who has endured heartbreak and loss, yet continues to stand tall. Through it all, she's had unwavering support from people who truly love her. One of those people is Reba McEntire, the legendary country singer who was once married to Brandon's father, Narvel Blackstock. For 26 years, Reba McEntire was part of the Blackstock family, and even after her marriage ended, her bond with Kelly Clarkson never broke. The two share not just a deep friendship, but a mutual respect that's rare in show business. Reba spoke lovingly about Kelly and the kids, saying, "They're doing well. They're bonding together, hanging out, and taking it one day at a time. God's got this." Her words echoed the strength and faith that have guided Kelly through every chapter of her life. With friends like Reba McEntire by her side, she's had the emotional support to rebuild herself after loss. Back on stage in Las Vegas, Kelly Clarkson channeled all that pain and wisdom into her performance. The residency wasn't just another concert series, it was a reflection of her journey. Every note, every story, every joke carried a piece of her truth. Fans didn't just come to hear her sing, they came to connect with her heart. She stood there, radiant under the spotlight, her voice soaring effortlessly through ballads and anthems. Between songs, she laughed with the audience, teased her band, and shared spontaneous thoughts. There was no filter, no script, just pure, unguarded Kelly. That's what made it magical. Each night, the theater was filled with people who'd grown up with her, fans who remembered her from the very first season of American Idol, when she shocked the world with her powerhouse voice and down-to-earth charm. 2 decades later, she still carries that same spirit, only stronger, wiser, and even more unapologetically herself. With only a handful of shows left in her Vegas run, fans have been savoring every performance, knowing they're witnessing something special. A comeback not just of career, but of spirit. After all the struggles, all the heartbreak, Kelly Clarkson has found her joy again. And that brings us back to that viral moment, the Boob Job story that made headlines. To some, it might have seemed like just another funny quote. But for Kelly, it symbolized something much deeper. It was her way of reclaiming her power, of laughing in the face of an industry that once tried to box her in. That comment from her former manager could have broken her confidence years ago, but instead, she turned it into a punchline, one that inspired millions. Because when Kelly Clarkson speaks, it's not just about her. It's about every person who's ever been told they need to change to fit someone else's idea of perfection. It's about every woman who's ever been criticized for her body, every artist who's been told to fix themselves to be marketable. Kelly's laughter that night wasn't just humor. It was defiance, freedom, and truth. Her message rang clear: authenticity will always outshine artificial perfection. She's showing the world that being real, even when it's messy, even when it hurts, is far more powerful than pretending to be flawless. Perfection fades, but authenticity lasts forever, and that's what makes Kelly Clarkson timeless. As the final song of the night played and the crowd stood to cheer, Kelly looked out at the audience with tears in her eyes and that signature grin on her face. You could feel the gratitude in her gaze, gratitude for her fans, her family, and for life itself. She's weathered the storms of fame, heartbreak, and loss, but through it all, she's never lost her heart. From the young girl who auditioned for American Idol with a dream, to the global superstar who stood on a Las Vegas stage and told the world exactly who she is, Kelly's journey has been one of truth and transformation. And as the lights dimmed and the cheers echoed one last time, her message lingered in the air like a melody you can't forget. Be yourself, always. Don't let anyone tell you that you're not enough. Because if there's one thing Kelly Clarkson has proven, it's that strength doesn't come from perfection. It comes from being real, raw, and unapologetically you. She smiled one last time and waved to her fans, her voice warm and steady as she said, "You don't like me? Awesome, next." The crowd laughed and applauded again, soaking up her energy. In that single sentence, she summed up her entire philosophy. No more trying to please everyone, no more shrinking to fit in. This was the new Kelly Clarkson. Fearless, funny, and free. The artist who turned pain into power, judgment into laughter, and vulnerability into victory.